A big hello to all you content enthusiasts who are watching this video. I'm glad that y'all are watching this video, and I hope that y'all have watched my previous video and it has been beneficial for you in some way or the other. Now in this particular video, we learn about the pro tips of creating a good content strategy. Pro tips of creating a content strategy that has your audience coming back for more. Now, there are a lot of tips and tricks available in the market, but these 6 pro tips have been tried and tested by industry experts and have been proven to be beneficial for each one of them. So today I'll share these 6 tips with you and I hope they are useful for you as well. Now, the first tip is focus. Focus is something that is very important for every individual in any profession. But for us as content creators, we have a lot going on at once. We have a lot on our table. We have a lot to attend to and a lot to cater to. So what happens is we end up losing focus because we have to look at 2-3 things or maybe 4-5 things at one time. Now, how do we tackle this problem? How do we ensure that we are able to do justice to our project with our focus? The only way you can do this is by having a right schedule, right? Focus on a single purpose at one time. So you cannot focus on 2-3 things at one time. Have a schedule, have a timetable, have your timings, know when to give your focus to what, and that is the only way you can do justice to any project with your focus. Another thing with focus, what happens is when you give all your focus to one thing at a time, you are actually giving your all to it, and that is what shows in the final product, and that's what shows in your final content delivery. So always focus on one thing at one time. Even though we have a lot of things going on at once, try to have the right schedule, try to have the right roadmap so that you can do justice with your project by giving the adequate amount of focus to that project, right? Now, the second pro tip that I would like to share with you all is emotional drive. We are human beings and we are highly driven by emotions, right? So the only way you can target your audience is by driving them emotionally, by giving them content that is emotionally driven, by giving them content that has an emotional aspect to it, right? Always drive your content with emotions if you really want to build the right rapport with your audience and if you want to connect with your audience, because human beings are bound by emotions. Anything that hits us emotionally, we tend to keep it and we tend to carry it on with us, right? So always have an emotional drive in your content if you want your audience to remember you and to remember your content, right? Now, the third tip that I would like to share with you here is prioritize your audience. It is very important to have a user-centric approach when you are creating your content, when you're building your content strategy. Give your audience what they want and not what you want or not what your brand demands. Now, I understand as content creators, we are stuck between what the audience wants and what the audience needs and what the brand guidelines and the brand requirements are, right? Now, the pro tip here is that always give your audience that little extra edge, because it is them for who you're writing. It is them that are going to like your work, that are going to dislike your work. So if you do not create your content strategy with a user-centric approach, you could miss out on creating that rapport, and you could miss out on that opportunity that you have, to actually have a connect with your audience. So always prioritize your audience come what may, because they are the people who are actually going to read your content, who are going to consume your content, and that is the end goal that you write for. So always prioritize your audience, write for your audience. You can balance the brand requirements, but always give your audience that extra edge. Now, the next pro tip that I would like to share with you all is research well. What happens is for us as content creators, we often skip this part. We all can associate with it and we all know that we often end up skipping the research part because that is a little time consuming. Now, this is where we all make a mistake. Because if your foundation isn't well, if your research about your brand, about your competitors, about your audience, about market trends isn't on track, you will not be able to move ahead in the right direction, right? So if you want to move ahead and create the right pathway for your content strategy, it is very important to conduct the right research. Always have time in your roadmap, always have time in your schedule to conduct a thorough research. Because if you do not know the market, if you do not know your audience, if you do not know your brand, then it is very difficult for you to create a good content strategy that has a lasting impact on your audience. So research well and do not skip this part, because I know that we all very often take a shortcut on this particular part of our entire model, right? So research well, know your audience, know your brand, know the market trends, and then move ahead, because that will help you save a lot of iteration time ahead during your project, right? Now, the next tip that I would like to share here with you is give takeaways. Now, always give your audience useful and usable content. Give your audience content that adds value to their life. Why should they read your article? Why should they look at your blog? Why should they consume your content? Give them a reason to consume your content. Give them something that is useful, usable, valuable to them, something that adds value to their own personal life. Only then will they take it ahead and will they remember it. Also, what happens is, when you give your audience what they want, and if when you give your audience something that they can take away from, they are very likely to give word of mouth referrals to their friends, to their relatives, to people they know, to their colleagues. So that is how your content also reaches more and more people, and that is what we aim at. We aim at creating good content and reaching our content out to maximum number of people possible, right? Now, last but not the least, the last tip that I would like to share today is a systematic approach. It is very important for us to have a well planned approach to execute our content. So in one of my videos, I have shared about how you can create the right pathway and how you can have a systematic approach to creating the right content. You can have a look at that and you can get a deeper understanding on it. But here, what I would like to say is that it is very important for you to have the right blueprint to execute your content strategy. You cannot just create content and publish it, right? You need to, as much as you need to structure your content strategy and have the right module for that, you also need to have the right module to put it out there. You cannot put it on any platform. Any content cannot be used on any platform, right? So see your content, see what platform do you want to put it on, see the time frames you want to put it on, see what is happening around in the market, so that you can put out the right content out at the right time to have that connect with your audience, right? So always have a well planned approach to not only creating your content but to also execute your content, because your content could be fantastic, but if you do not know how to put it out, how to publish it, how to get it out to people, then it is of no much use, right? So always have a well planned structure, know when to do what, when to publish what, when the audience wants what, right? So these were the 6 tips that I have shared with you. I hope you use them. I hope they're helpful for you. If there's anything that you want me to address, or if you have any suggestions or any feedback, write down in the comment section and I will definitely get back to you. Thank you.